Hello, hello. My name is Michelle. I'm 48. I'm getting ready to start my third year as a part-time teacher. Prior to that, I taught full-time 20 years, and I'm currently a high school English teacher. And so, in addition to being a part-time teacher, that means I have now turned into a part-time entrepreneur to try to supplement my income. So as you can tell from the title, I wanted to give you an update about like velocity banking and just some things to consider after I've gotten my 1 month under my belt. And one of the biggest things that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, and it matters if you're in a situation like mine, which is if you're behind on your credit cards and then you use this method to get caught up, teeny little problem is, and this happened to me so far on one of my cards, is that when I paid a couple hundred on it to get it caught up. Actually, to be exact, it was like 600, so it was a little more than a couple hundred. But what happened was, soon as that posted, guess what? They lowered my credit limit. And so what that meant now is that I had to rework my system, because the like bills that I was going to pay with that was actually my Bank of America Visa. Actually, it was my Bank of America MasterCard. So when they did that, the bills that I was going to have cover that, which was going to be my utilities, because my utilities range between like $200 to $300 a month. And I thought, oh, perfect, I'll be able to cover the minimum payments. How about they dropped the limit? So now I don't have enough like room on that credit card to do that plan. And I've heard Christy Van mention this could happen, but she kind of does it in passing. So you don't really think, oh, well, this might happen to me. And if it does happen to you, of course, you're like, what the heck? So my suggestion would be, if you're similar to me, now, if you're on time with all your stuff, then you don't have to worry. There probably wouldn't be a reason why credit card companies would be reducing your credit limits. But if you're behind and you're trying to like get caught up like me, test it out with an amount that's not going to like wreck your budget. So that means maybe pay like $50 and then see, like, does your credit limit stay or did they drop it by 50? That way you can kind of get an idea of like which cards you're going to be able to use and which ones you aren't. So just there was a reminder, test that out, because that really kind of screwed me, because I kind of was planning on having my utilities go through, and then I couldn't because it was a little stressful. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was getting like text messages and emails saying that it was actually my Comcast and my T-Mobile. And they were like, oh yeah, it didn't clear. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So then I had to figure out, okay, what am I gonna do? Because remember, of course, if you saw my other velocity banking video, the whole point of me doing this is to get caught up. And so while I do eventually want to pay off credit card debt, but because I've had a reduction in income, because I mentioned in my other video how I have rental property and I'm fixing it up so it can be re-rented. So while I wait for that, I'm kind of like just using this current way of velocity banking is more of like treading water. So if I could just run my living expenses through my credit cards, then at least I would just be literally staying afloat. So like, no, I'm not paying down any debt, but at least I'm covering the minimum payments just until I can get the house rented, and then I have that extra money coming in. I'm hopeful, I'm recording this in July, I'm hoping that the stars will all line up and that by the end of August, I will have someone in the house. I say that because I'm going through Section 8, and oftentimes that can take a little longer. So hopefully by the end of August, I could have a tenant in there, and then a lot of my money issues, they won't be solved, but it'll give me a lot more breathing room. So anyway, yeah, just keep that in mind. If you're going to try velocity banking, oh, excuse me, if you're going to try it and you're behind, test it out with like a smaller amount of money. That way, if they do reduce your income, your credit line, then you kind of know, you can kind of brace for it. You can kind of plan for it. You can kind of rework your plan. Because like I said, now I'm going to have to kind of rework it, because now I can't use that card to cover those expenses, because there's not enough like room on there unless I make like some bigger payments, which unfortunately right now I'm not in a position to do. So as always, Be grateful. If you're doing velocity banking and you have some tips and tricks or this has happened to you, feel free to let me know. Like, how did you get around it? How did you solve it? Did you just keep with the minimum payments on that one, that card, and then just do velocity banking on like different cards? Or I'd love to hear your take on it. And thank you for watching. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.